Welcome. You're listening to Conversations with Alnisa After Dark, and I am Tahaya Alnisa. So let's clear something up, because there probably has been the question of, is she Alnisa After Dark, or is she Tahaya Alnisa? Let's look at it like this. Tahaya Alnisa is the professional one. She is the one with the license, and she does this and she does that. And so you get Tahaya Alnisa. If you go out to my website, tahayamartin.com, you will see Tahaya Alnisa. But if you go to my Instagram, and on my Instagram, you will see the Alnisa After Dark Instagram. This is where you get the sensual, sexual, the no hold bars, the show it all, let it all out. So I'm not going to say devil and angel because it's none of that going on here. But what I would call is just two sides of the same coin. There are some things I'm going to give the professional terms with, and then there are some things where you're just going to get it just how it is. But just know that you're still getting it from moi. All right. So I am here in my lovely bedroom. I almost didn't do a recording. But something said to, hey, let's do a recording. Let the people see who you really are. I didn't think that I was going to do a recording because 1, it's late. 2, I've had a long day. 3, I really wanted to just commit to getting my podcast, to get the podcast episode out. And I didn't want to have to do all the setting up because my creative director is doing a video shoot. And so, lots of noises in the background. And so it is just me, set up everything on my own, and I'm bringing you this podcast episode raw, unedited, as it should be. Because that's who I am. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Sensuality. Ooh, let's get that out. By the way, I am drinking some yummy cacao tonight so that I can go to sleep and have some yummy dreams because my heart should be wide open. If you don't know about cacao, that's another episode. But just know it's a heartwarming, heart-opening, heart-centered plant medicine when you use it as plant medicine. If you don't use it as plant medicine, you can use it as cocoa. But like I said, that's another episode. So let's get into sensuality. Sensuality is being able to experience pleasures and enjoyment through the body and the senses. Okay? So that means like right now, as I'm drinking my cacao, it is very good, very creamy, very rich, very warm, and I feel so sensual drinking it because I am exploring the taste of it, which is a sense. I am enjoying the smell of it. And I'm allowing my body to be present with this experience. And it is a sensual experience. It's like, I'm making love to my cacao drink. Let's try that again. I'm gonna take a sip. Some ashmere going on. And yeah, it's very sensual. I can feel the warmth going down my throat. I taste the creaminess of it, the warmth of it, the chocolateness of it. My tongue is just having a very sensual experience with this drink. That, my people, is sensuality. So, sensuality and sexuality are two different things. Again, sensuality is the ability to be able to experience pleasures and enjoyment using the body, or through the body and through the senses. So then I guess the question is, can you be sensual and emotionally unavailable? Well, that's a tough one. So let's talk about emotional availability. Emotional availability is when you're able to access your feelings and your emotions without it being uncomfortable. So, excuse me, if I'm sad, I'm able to sit with sadness, I'm able to recognize sadness, and I'm able to work through the sadness. I'm able to say that I'm sad. I could be uncomfortable with the sadness, and I'm also allowing myself to work through it and be in it. So I'm not projecting, I'm not blocking. I am allowing myself to access it. I am being available to the emotion, right? Emotional unavailability is when I can't access that. I'm sad. I don't have time for sadness. Or someone else come around and they're sad. I don't have time for that either. So that means that leads to be, or that says that one is emotionally unavailable. When you don't allow yourself to access or be open to emotions and feelings, whether they're yours or someone else. How do we access that? Well, as a somatic practitioner, I focus on the body. And excuse me, I'm sorry if you can hear me burping, but this cacao is really doing its number. Side note, I use cacao as a healing medicine, a plant medicine. And when I'm doing energy work, one of the things that do happen for people is burping, or you can hear the gurgling or movement in their stomach. And so in drinking this, I am opening up my heart. So, just in case you heard that. But anyway, back to emotional availability and somatic. What I teach is, just as you see me sitting on my bed, and for those of you who chose to go look at the visual, but for those of you who can't, I am sitting on my bed, right? I'm in lotus position, which means my feet are crossed. And I am being present as to what is happening for me in the moment. So I'm allowing myself to access. Somebody's having a great time out there. But I'm allowing myself to access what is happening for me in the body. So I am being emotionally available to me by being still and being present. And so, in doing that, I'm using my senses. What am I feeling internally? I am feeling excited. I am feeling tired. What am I hearing? I am hearing the car speeding up and down outside of my apartment building. How does that make me feel? I don't feel anything about that. I was annoyed initially because I'm trying to give you all a clean podcast, but I'm okay. This is real, raw, and uncut. What do I smell? I smell my chocolate drink, my cacao. What do I taste? I taste my cacao. How do those things make me feel? It makes me feel warm. It makes me feel comforted. It makes me feel safe. What do I feel? I feel the ridges of my jeans as I'm rubbing my kneecap. How does that make me feel? It makes me feel okay. It makes me feel safe. I am a sensory person. I like feeling and touching things. So the feel of it feels very soft. Feel the strings. and I feel how they're cutting through my skin, and I feel safe. I feel good. So, in doing this exercise, what I wanted to give an example of is how me being still, being present, me accessing me, meaning accessing my feelings, my thoughts, using my body. I am also then able to tap into some pleasure, which is sensuality. So, what do we do with that? Well, when you open yourself up to sensuality, remember you're also opening yourself up to pleasures. How does this relate to other people? So imagine being in a relationship and you're closed off sensually and you're trying to have sex and you're so closed off that you're not enjoying the pleasure of sex. You're there, you feel something, but you're not, when you haven't tapped into the sensuality of sex, you're not truly enjoying the the experience of the sex, which is the reason why a lot of women don't have orgasms, because we're not tapped into our sensuality. And when we're not tapped into our sensuality, we're not tapped into the sensuality of sex. And in tapping into the sensuality of sex, we're able to enjoy the moment, we're able to experience pleasure, and in experience pleasure, it leads to orgasms. Sometimes, not all times. And just because you didn't have an orgasm doesn't mean it wasn't pleasurable. It just means you didn't have an orgasm. But a lot of women aren't experiencing orgasms because they are disconnected from their bodies, and their bodies have blocked them from experiencing pleasure or the sensuality of sex. So how does one tap into their sensuality? So I'm gonna keep it brief because I, with my co-host, the Lotus Spot, will be hosting an event where we will be teaching women how to tap into their sensuality using different exercises, different activities. So that is the weekend is September 21st. So I don't have my calendar in front of me, but the weekend is September 21st. We'll be having that event. 21st and 22nd. It's on a Friday night. I will post that. So you can come to that event if you're local. If you're not local, let's talk about that without me giving it all away. One of the things that I do teach clients is what I call dry brushing. So, and I'll put this here. I don't have a dry brush with me, but you take a dry brush, and it's a brush, very fine bristles on it, and you take the brush and you rub it on the skin. Just as I'm doing this now, for those who are looking at the visual, and for those who are not, I am taking my fingertips as if it was a dry brush, and I'm starting from the tip of my hands, and I'm rolling them up my arm, very soft, seductive, and sensual. And I say sensual because right here, I can feel where there's a difference between my hand, the back of my forearm. I'm not good at anatomy. But as I get closer to my shoulders, there's a spot that I've noticed. Oh my God. And it feels amazing. But here's what makes it sensual. Here's where I'm tapping to my sensuality. As I'm doing this, I am rubbing up my shoulders, and I'm recognizing that in this spot, by my underarm and my shoulder, it's very sensitive. And sensitive, I mean, it is pleasurable, I'll say. Let me change that. Pleasurable to me, where I can feel it and I close my eyes and I just drop it to my body. I feel how, if my hands was a dry brush, my fingertips were a dry brush, that it feels amazing. It's actually relaxing me. I feel great. I am very relaxed. I am tapped in. It is very pleasurable. And I'm making it sensual by just moving around with it. And, I'm going to come up here around my forearm and go down. Oh my God, it feels good. And so I'm tapping into my sensuality by myself on camera with my fingertips that I say, you can use a dry brush. And I'm just rubbing and touching and caressing the arm. And I'm connecting to my body, and I'm feeling my body. I'm feeling my body, but my body's also feeling me, meaning that it is connected to my fingertips, which would be a dry brush if I had one, to get used to what that feels like. And it feels amazing. So for those of you that's ticklish, yay, hoorah, because that means you're very open to touch. And so I'm using the art of touch, to connect with my body, to enjoy this experience, sensual experience. It's sensory. It's a sensory exercise. And I do erotic sensory body work, and this is something that we will do. I will use my fingertips to touch you. I will use a light feather to touch you, or some ice. Have we tried ice? You can take ice and do the same thing. Take it and rub it around the neck and rub it around the face, across the forehead, on the back. But you're doing these types of, I call it dry brushing or finger tipping or icing techniques, so that your body can connect and become used to, or not used to, but your body connects to you. You and your body are making a connection. It becomes a mindfulness exercise, but also a sensuality exercise, because you're tapping into the senses. I am using touch, right? And in that touch, that is a sense. I'm using my fingertips to touch. And this touch, I'm enjoying the pleasure. Remember I said earlier that sensuality is being able to experience enjoyment and pleasure through the body and through the senses. This is a sensual exercise. So then when you're with your partner, don't you like it when your partner is touching you? That's very sensual. Again, sensual is not sexual. Sensual is senses. The root word of that is senses, your senses. So this feels amazing. And so if you were my client and you're trying to tap into the sensuality, one of the exercises I would give you is dry brushing. Or if you don't want to go get a dry brush, I would say, hey, get a light feather, and I thought I had one, but just grabbing a light feather and using that light feather, and make sure you touch every crease and crevice of your body from your head, because this is sensual, from your head down to your pinky toe. Okay? And this is how you're opening yourself up. You're doing this imprinting of being open to touch. Touch is very pleasurable. Touch is very healing. Okay? So another activity, I will have you to get different types of foods. And like tonight, my cacao has been that example. And I will ask you to taste it. So you would taste it. And for this, pretend that I have it in my mouth. And I will ask you to hold the food in your mouth. Hold it. Allow the flavors to just explode in your mouth. You can you can taste every ingredient that food was made of. The coldness of it, the warmth of it, the juiciness of it, whatever it is that you decide to get, I would invite you to just Take it and hold it. And enjoy the food. This is sensual eating, mindfulness eating. Mindfulness is sensual, by the way. So you're enjoying that and your mouth is having like an orgasm because it just tastes so freaking good and you actually can taste it, right? That is how we use taste. Sight. So sight, I will ask you to get some pictures of something that is appealing to the eye and allowing you to sit with it and let your eyes just feel the joy of looking at whatever it is that you're looking at. Have eye orgasms, you know? And allow the eyes to just sit and gaze at whatever it is that you're watching, and being able to experience the joy of watching something. It's like when you watch children play. It's very pleasurable. It's enjoyment. Your heart begins to smile, okay? That's what that's like. So we did sight, we did taste, we did touch, sound. Putting on some nice mellow music, some jazz, some sound bowls, some healing frequencies, and sitting there and using headphones, allowing the ears to take in the audio and allowing yourself and your body to experience the joy of the audio. I love listening to love songs, you know, those songs it just does something to me. And so it's so sensual to just sit there and to just take your time and to just listen. Then you might start finding yourself, you know, doing a little bit of the dry brushing, feather brushing, fingertip brushing, whatever name you want to call it. Smell, aromatherapy. So just like I have this cacao, this chocolate, I take in that smell of the cacao, that chocolate, the essence of the chocolate, and how when I'm smelling it is just filling my lungs, my nose, my lungs, my heart. And it is joyful. It is pleasurable. I am taking it all in. Yes. We did touch. We did taste. We did sound. We did, I can't remember the senses. So we just did touch. We did sight. We did sound. We did taste. And we did smell. So all of those that I just did in those few minutes allows me to tap into my sensuality or tap into some sensuality because I have allowed my body to open itself up to pleasure, to enjoyment. My body has connected with the senses, which also meant that I had to be emotionally available to know what the feelings are that I was experiencing in this quick experiment and to be able to say that out loud to you all, right? Right. So those will be ways that I will teach you to tap into your body, your senses using somatic work. Other ways, movement. You know, when you put on the sounds, your body may begin to sway left and right, and you're moving in rhythm with the music. And but you're having this sway. It's very sensual, it's very slow, it's very melodic, and it's very mindful, and you're able to just explore and take it all in, and it become a process of enjoyment and a process of receiving pleasure. Okay. Doing things that bring you joy and pleasure helps you to tap into sensuality. Okay. Let's go back to partners. If you're not crazy about your partner, you ain't gonna be you're not gonna tap into your sensuality with them, let alone your sexuality. So having partners that you enjoy, duh. Not just anybody, but a partner that you enjoy, a partner that allows you to be open, a partner that allows you to be free, a partner that you can be in this space and there's no judgment. If you're in partnerships and that is not there, then you're not, it's going to be difficult for you to tap into that. Now, you can come to me or other practitioners and we'll teach you how to tap into it, but then you'll go home with a partner and you will have to have a boundary, another episode, where you will fully lean into that and your partner will either get with it or not. Okay? So, as we're winding down the time, that is what I want to talk about tonight is sensuality. And I want to leave you with something. I want to leave you with an exercise in which you will continue to explore and tap into your sensuality. So, as you're winding down for the night and you're about to take that nice hot bath, or you're about to take that long shower, I want you to grab your favorite body wash or your favorite bath oil. And as you're putting this on your washcloth or your loofah or even your hands, I want you to be very intentional with making sure that as you're doing it, if you're watching the video, you are very smooth and slow and you're able to caress every bit of the body as you're doing so. Even when you're cleaning out the ears, clean out the ears and just feel all the creases and ins and outs of the ear, the back of the neck. For the women, make sure you're going around the breasts and in between the breasts and around the belly and between the thighs. But don't give a rush job. This is supposed to be a very slow, sensual process to help you tap into your sensuality. To help it be sensual, it has to be slow. By the time that you're done with this, you should be able to know how it felt emotionally, what were the feelings, what were the emotions, and what were the body sensations that you experienced in taking that nice hot bath or that nice long shower. If you're not able to identify those, then you might need to hit me up and I can help you out with that. Okay? All right. So, I first want to say honor and gratitude for all those that did join me on this podcast tonight. I look forward to episode number 3. We're going to start bringing on our guests soon. I'm excited about the guests coming on. But until then, I want to leave you with a card from the Kaleidoscope Love Deck. I hope I'm saying it right. And we have, I hope you can see it, breakups and makeups. Some people like to break up just to make up. But what I see in this card is that as we go through this Venus retrograde until September 2nd or 3rd, there will be some breakups and there will be some makeups happening all at the same time. And the breakups and makeups can be our relationships and our finances. So it means that, because it's like a plate, and they put the gold in the plate to bring it together. And so for me, when I look at this card, what that represents is that there are some things that we're going to have to put back together, the makeups, but there's also things that we got to break up and let go. We can't put the gold trimming, the linen filled with gold pieces anymore. And so taking the time to reflect on your relationships and your finances, which is your relationship with money. What needs to be broken up and what needs to be made up. And so with that, I am signing off. Thank you for listening to Conversations with Alnisa After Dark. I am Tahea Alnisa. And a big disclaimer, this is not, and I repeat, this is not a substitute for therapy. This is edutainment and for research purposes. Peace and love.